Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. We're going to talk about, is this relationship salvageable? Should we go back to it? Should we just move forward? So the definition of salvageable, yeah, you can salvage it. You can take it back. You can hold on to it. Just like if you get something out of the garbage, you can salvage it. But how useful is it? How much worth does it have? So yeah, you can salvage it. You can go through the motions. But should you go back to it? Is it worth kind of taking out of the garbage? Is it something that is useful? If you're in it just to, say you have a spouse or a partner, but if you're in it for a true relationship, a true connection with somebody, it's just not worth it. So whether it's salvageable, can you save it? You can save it. Can you fix it? Empathetic people usually like fixing things. We're kind of drawn to that. And we see the possibilities of it being corrected, because we have faith in it. We have faith in ourselves that we know that we're going to do our part, but our part always gets knocked down, or our part is too hard to do in a two-person relationship, because you need that other person in it for it to be a relationship. Because without that second person, it's not a relationship. And they're emotionally unavailable. So you're in a relationship with a human body, but you're not in a relationship with a human mind or a human heart. And the hardest part, I keep saying, is they're intelligent people often, but their mind state is incapable of an adult relationship. They're stuck in a needy juvenile toddler state. Some people even state like an infant. Depends on how severe they are. I just read that, what was it, 300 million people a year or something like that. I want it was like 300 million people a year. And I swear that's correct. I know it was 300 million people are diagnosed or have narcissism. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. And this world is just coming more and more narcissistic as we go on. So it's very toxic. And I want to look this up. I want to make sure how many people are narcissists, because I want to give you the correct number. And it's here it's this one's not right though. I don't believe it's 75%. It is more men than women. And there are differences between men and women who are narcissists. As I'm looking it up, I can't find it quick enough for you guys. But there are some subtle differences. Women in general are more emotional than men. We're usually teaching the boys to hold back their emotions. So it's, part of it is product of what they were grown up being taught. But there are so many narcissists in this world that it's really important to, before you move on, to be whole in yourself and be ready for a good relationship, because you're still going through what you're going through. You still have your pains, and it's not healthy to bring that into a new relationship, because we might have some backlash from our reactive abuse, where because of what was done to us, we react in a way that's not necessarily how we would react. So that's why it's good to kind of heal, get yourself in a better state, be a little more available yourself. You have to take care of yourself before you can move forward. But definitely enjoy time with other people, but don't rush into things. That's what the narcissist does to cover up their pain. And it always falls apart. A lot of you are nervous or worried about this new supply. Is that new supply better than me? Why do they get all this stuff, the love bombing. And for the narcissist to just go so quickly, he didn't, she didn't weed out the best person. They just latched onto someone, just like an infant. You know, if mom or dad's not there, they're getting used to being at a daycare. They'll just kind of grab onto somebody. Just they just need somebody there. And that's where the narcissist is. They go from person to person to person without really processing who they're with before they latch onto them. And then they realize that something's lacking, because they want this perfect life. But then they also want the chaos, because that's what they grew up with. That's what they're missing. So they want this perfect life, but they're missing their childhood, because that's where the comfort was. So it's a terrible turmoil that they're going through, where this is what they want, and they pretty much achieve it, but it doesn't give them that comfort. So this is what they want, but this is their comfort, but they'll portray that they're capable of having what they want. So they portray that they and then they'll get it, but they self-sabotage every time it gets good. They want their comfort level, because it's just outside their realm. It's too exhausting to keep the facade up, that they're happy. So they get what they want, but then they realize that that's not fulfilling them, that's where the emptiness comes, and that they're empty inside. And so as they're in that state, they take and take and take and take, because it's not fulfilling them. And this is an important point. As they take and take and take, it's not fulfilling them. They need their comfort. And they just keep latching on and taking and taking. And then they turn into kind of like a bully. They just don't know how to handle it. And they just need the attention, because it's still not fulfilling the emptiness. And it's always destructive. It is always destructive. They have such a low incidence of changing. If they do, it's for a little bit of time, but that's just like rebuilding up here. They'll rebuild it. They'll give you the facade back, but then they're going to need that comfort level. So no matter how much you guys think we're saving this relationship, it might look like it's great, but they need that comfort of a mess. And that's why it always falls apart, because they want to be comfortable. We want to be comfortable, and our comfort levels are different. There's something, you know, that our childhood honestly does mold a lot of who we are. And that took a long time for me to kind of like, what? Come on. But it really does make a difference. There's things, you know, that kind of mold us. You know, often we liked, who knows, we liked the praise that we got from doing I don't know, if you were an artist, you might start doing that more and more, because that felt good when people did it. You saw the talent that you had. If you grew up eating certain kinds of food, you know, usually your food tastes are fairly similar. They do change, and you know, you do try new things. But for me, I just have spaghetti, tacos, chicken. That's what I grew up with. People are different. You know, you might be more explorative, but you might have had a lot larger food selection when you were growing up. It's just certain patterns that we just become ingrained in us. And the narcissist is just in a different state. Their mind is different, and they're unsettled because of the brain damage, because of the brain chemistry that's going off on them, in them. And it's kind of like when they're at rest, those impulses increase the chemicals, and so that they can't be at rest. That's why they self-sabotage, because as soon as things are good, that's a peaceful state. And they just, it's sad because they do seem like really great people. They present themselves, because if they walk up to you and go, I'm a jerk, you're not going to talk to them. If they walk up to you and say, hey, I'm a loser, do you want to be best friends? People, it's sad, but well, it's almost like a warning sign. If I told you everything that was wrong with me, that's when you evaluate it. Like, is this person worth hanging out with? If I say I have homicidal tendencies, but I try to control them, are you going to hang out with me? Narcissists have a fake persona, and that's who we fell in love with. And that's kind of hard to understand, because we're like, what did we fall in love with? And we want that person back, but that person doesn't exist. And it's so sad because we feel that person in our heart. And we long for that person, but that person isn't real. And we want to believe they're real because we feel them. We feel them inside our heart. And as an empathetic person, we see the good and we forget about the bad. Like, for all of you out there trying to, how do we repair this? And why couldn't we fix it? Or why did they leave me when it could have been fixed? And we start to feel guilty about it. We forget the bad. Like, sometimes the bad was really cold. It wasn't just, little miscommunications. Like, oh, I thought you meant 5:30. Oh, no, I got there at 5:40 because I thought you said 5:30, or what I'm trying to say, where it's just a little miscommunication about the time, or little miscommunication, do the towels and you do the clothes. It's just miscommunication. But the narcissist will be so cold, and they devalue you and they go silent on you, or they'll leave. They don't care about the responsibilities at home. They just take off. They're not considerate. They let you worry. They confuse you. They don't take accountability. And we overlook that because we like to see the good. But sometimes, I had said, just, like a bad apple, it just starts spoiling everything in its path, in the bushel. And that's what the narcissist does. They just spread infection throughout what comes in contact with them. And that's why narcissism is on the rise, because that one bad apple just started getting worse and worse to where all the contacts are starting to have more and more narcissistic traits. And be really careful, because we can pick up those traits as well. And don't change who you are. Don't let your brain damage continue to grow, because there is brain damage that happens. And that's when our thought processes are changed. Our emotions are harder to regulate. That's where the destruction, not only of the relationship, but the destruction of us comes in. And looking back, do you remember how happy you were before you met your first narcissistic partner? And sometimes we fall back into that trap because they're drawn to people like us and we're drawn to them, because they show us that facade. So we're like, yeah, this is a good person. And it's so hard to weed through. But there are red flags. I got some videos on the red flags. Other people on YouTube have some good videos. Just be aware and watch out for those red flags. Don't keep overlooking them. So I'm sending you guys a big hug, and I'm going to go take my dog for a walk. Get out there and enjoy the sun. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.